My wife and I and two young boys moved back to Idaho in 1971. I was 31 years old and didn't know the Lord, but we hired a contractor by the name of Cliff Rouse. He noticed that that we bought a few acres and didn't have the money to have a tractor or buy a tractor, so I tried to rent one, and he found out about it. And he brought his over and just said, go ahead and use it. And he showed me how to use it and taught me a lot of things about the farm. And he did so much for me. Even his wife and daughter came down and helped us paint the house, and we couldn't repay him anyway. He said all of that equipment that he has is not his. It belongs to the Lord. That he's just a steward of it. I couldn't believe that Cliff or anybody would lend me such a nice piece of equipment and things to go with it. He was a completely different type of person that I'd ever met. Here's a man that put other people first before himself. And some neighbors told me that I was not alone. He did that for everybody. They invited us to a family camp up at Quaker Hill, and we had a service there, and it had an altar call afterwards. And I wanted to get up, but I didn't. I was worried about my wife sitting next to me, that she may not want to go with me. We left and went to the dining hall, but I went down and got our jackets because it was cold mountain air that night. I've always been a hard worker and an athlete, and hills, I like hiking in the hills. Normally, that's not an effort for me, but on every step I was taking up that hill from the boathouse, I felt a weight that was calling me. Like a magnet, I was headed for the chapel. And I knelt and prayed, Lord, I don't know you, but I know Cliff, and he knows you. And I know what you did to that man. And I want you to do the same thing for me. I want to take you into my heart and change me. I didn't tell my wife. I didn't tell anybody about it. Fast forward about 6 weeks or so, I found her missing from our bed at night, middle of the night. And I found her in the living room, and she was sobbing and crying. And I asked her, what's the trouble? What's the matter? She couldn't tell me. She says, I don't know what's the matter. And this happened a couple more times in the middle of the night. And I said, well, you've got to tell me what's going on. And she said, well, I don't know, but somehow you've changed. There's something different about you. There's a peace about you. And I want that same peace. That's a special moment in our lives that happened. I didn't quite realize that I had changed, but picking up from my past with my dad and his anger, and I developed an anger too that I wanted to get rid of, and Jesus took that away from me. As I look back at my life, I can see that God and Jesus had been watching over me and guiding me at a number of times in my life and protected me. And even before I knew him, he does that for everyone. He can give that grace to all of us. It just took me 31 years to find that out.